Hi, I'm Robin Dinda. I'm from Fitchburg, Massachusetts, and I was asked to do this actually not very long ago. So here I am. I'm a professor at Fitchburg State University, and I'm also the musician at First Parish Church downtown Fitchburg, where we have a wonderful E.M. Skinner organ, about the same age and about the same size as this one. This is an Este organ, and Este was, of course, based in Brattleboro. And Este built, most famously, reed organs, these little harmoniums that you sit at and you pump and have little reeds in it. And they built literally hundreds of thousands of them, and they're all over North America. Este also built pipe organs and put in hundreds, possibly thousands of installations of pipe organs. This is the largest Este organ to be built in Brattleboro. They built 6 or 8 of them. I looked it up. This is the largest one they built. And the Estes have an affiliation with this church. Now, I don't know this for certain, but I'm reasonably convinced that the Estes would use this as a sort of showroom, because that was a very normal thing for organ builders to do. I know E.M. Skinner in Boston did it, Austin and Hartford did it, and I'm sure the Estes did it too, which is that if a church organ committee came to town, they would almost certainly bring them over here and say, look, here's what we can do in a good-sized room with a big instrument. This organ was installed in 1906, and the action was what's called pneumatic. The valves underneath the pipes were operated through wind pressure that's separate from the blowers that pump air through the pipe. And then in 1959, I believe it is, the organ was electrified, so the console is now electric. And a few small tonal changes were put into the instrument. It was fashionable in the first third of the 19th century to make the facade a set of dummy pipes. So, as was said, those are probably all dummy pipes. If you look very closely, you might be able to see some pipes behind them. I don't know the exact size of this instrument. It should be about 1,800 pipes in size, from about 16 feet in height down to something the size of a pencil, and absolutely everything in between, made out of tin and lead and zinc and wood. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play, I was asked to play some Bach, so I'm going to play the Toccata and Fugue in D minor, since everybody knows them. And I'm going to play something that shows off the orchestral organ, Harold Arlen's Somewhere Over the Rainbow. And I'm going to have you sing a couple of hymns, because that's what organs are for, after all. And the hymns are on 2 handouts. There's Amazing Grace and My Country 'Tis of Thee. So if you don't have one, if you're in a cluster of people who all have the hymns, can you pass them to people who don't have them at all? Thank you. So let's get started. I'm going to play the Toccata and Fugue in D minor. In my church, we used to set this up for concerts, and eventually they said, can you put it up for bellows and voices? And I would just leave it up for the whole service. Because in my church, I'm down in the pit, just like here, and you can't see me. And, I get paid the same whether you can see me or not. So why not, So now you can see a little bit of what I do. So we have 3 keyboards for the hands, 1 keyboard for the feet, 32 pedals. And the feet are considered to be basically a third hand. And you'll see how that works. The stops that operate the pipes are these little banks up here. And these little buttons are presets. I can program combinations of those things. I'll demonstrate some of the things how they work. But right now, let's just get started. I'm going to mostly give you here the chorus sounds. So combinations of pipes. Loud, medium, soft, and so on. And you'll get to see me change keyboards. Organists call them manuals. So like manual labor is done with your hand. So you're going to see me change the keyboards and move stops around, hit a few buttons. And it does a fairly busy pedal part, so you can enjoy that too. In the organ world, this style of organ building is called orchestral organ building. Partly because it's supposed to resemble an orchestra a bit, but partly because some of the styles that one would hear in an orchestra, you can also hear in this organ. By that I mean, although you heard a lot of combinations of sound, where this style of organ really shines is in solo and accompaniment sounds. It has all these luscious little solo stops. So let me just demonstrate a few of them, because I'm going to play all of them for you in a row. So up here on the division called the swell, here's the oboe. Here's the cornopian, which is a trumpet. Down on what we call the choir, the cor glorieux, which was originally called a saxophone in 1906. And the trumpet on the grate. There's also a big flute up here. And there's subsidiary flutes all over. And there are also very good sounds for accompanying what we call, flutes, but also what we call strings, which actually sounds a little stringy. Now, these strings can be combined with an out-of-tune string to produce a very warm effect called celesting. This organ has two, there's one down here. So I'm going to play Harold Arlen's Over the Rainbow. And that would have been played, this is from 1939, so a little bit later than this instrument. This instrument would have played this kind of music, in other words, solo and accompaniment, very well. I chose this because everybody knows the song. And also what I'm going to do is each time the melody comes in, I'm going to change the solo stop. And I'm going to do it in the order you just heard it. I'm going to do the oboe, and then the cornopian, and the trumpet, and the cor glorieux, and the trumpet. And I'm going to end with the vox humana, the human voice. I'm also going to use a orchestral organist's trick at the very end. I'm going to play the melody in the vox humana and accompany myself using the thumb on the middle keyboard. Let's see if I get this right. time for one more? Okay. There are two great bodies of organ music. One is the German Baroque, from roughly 1650 to 1750, and Bach, of course, is the most famous. But the other great body is the French Romantic, from about 1860 until the recent past, really. And this is one of the best loved of all French Romantic pieces. This is from the Suite Gothique by the Parisian composer Léon Boelman. And I'm going to play the last movement, the toccata. So you're going to have a pair of toccatas on either end. Toccata in Italian means to touch. We organists love our toccatas because we get to move our fingers as much as we like. So this also works just fine on this organ. It's a bombastic piece that requires a somewhat bombastic organ. I mean that in a good sense. Okay, enjoy. the mechanism that plays the organ is mass-produced, but the pipes are all made by hand. Even today, in pipe organs, it's all made by hand. So every organ sounds different, and also every room is different. So the organ is literally part of the architecture. Once it was installed, they had someone at the organ and someone in the congregation say, play this, play that, make it softer, make it louder, and someone up there would have been doing that adjusting. So that means that when I'm adjusting stops, I'm doing it for this organ.